Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to another episode of Diesel Boy Garage. Today we're going to rebuild the turbo on the 5.9 24 valve Cummins. So I blew it. I broke it. I straight up broke it. It seized, thank God, because normally turbos like that, they fucking just grenade. So yeah, I got lucky. And we're gonna rip it out today. I got a buddy of mine coming over later with he's got a better set of tools than I do right now. But so let me show you what we're getting into. So right here I have a rebuild kit for a whole set HX35W. Like I said, the reason why I bought it because I've never heard of turbos ever seizing before. So, when I noticed it was seized, it's like, what, maybe it's still salvageable. So I'll do that. I also have a replacement turbo as well. It is actually, it's a Chinese aftermarket one. I'm not gonna lie. Although I did do some research on it, and the only difference between an actual genuine whole set and an aftermarket Chinese whole set is the fact that the thrust bearings are significantly different. And I say that as in the thrust bearings on the knockoff, they're not, the holes aren't drilled the same way, so oil can't get there through enough. So my plan is, maybe depending on how bad the thrust bearing is in the original turbo, I might throw that in the brand new one and take the one from the rebuild kit and throw it in that one and call it a day. But so it's turbo's out in the truck right now. I gotta go rip it out. Hopefully my buddy Jordan will be here in a little bit, and we're gonna bring the turbo in and we're gonna work right there on my nice little shitty table. And gotta go do a quick errand first, but then once I come back, we'll be good to go. So let's get to it. Like I said, me and my buddy last night were working on it a bit. Got a start on it. So far we got the intake pipe, or the charge pipe, whatever the fuck you want to call it, off. We got, I don't know if you can see it from here, we got this pipe here off the front of the turbo. I disconnected the clamp on the back, but for some reason it's still fucking it's still caught on there somehow, so I think it might be just seized on, so we'll peel that off once we get it out. So the next thing to work on is I want to try to start getting the oil feed line off, and maybe start loosening the fucking bolts in the manifold, and down below getting the fucking oil return line off as well. So I'm gonna have a quick little smoke break here, and I'm gonna start working away. I'll come back once I get it off, or I'll give a status update, if that, or who knows, maybe Jordan will show up before then. So we'll see. Till then, let's get it going. Hey guys, so it is the next day, well technically next night. Before I left off from the last part, I ran into a bit of a snag, so Jordan didn't end up showing up, and I was left without a whole lot of help, or if any, for that matter. So that being said, I'm gonna go back out. I'm gonna try to fucking wrench on it some more, and we'll go from there. I actually had an idea. I was watching some other YouTube videos of some other guys doing rebuilds on their turbos, and what they actually ended up doing is they ended up splitting the turbo in half. And what I mean by that is, they took out the turbine out of the turbine housing on the hot side. So I'm hoping, if all works well, I'll be able to take the turbo off at this point. I already have the oil return line disconnected, and I also have the feed line disconnected. So I'm hoping at this point it's just a matter of one wrench, and I'll be able to pull the thing out, and I'll be able to bring it in here and be able to start rebuilding it. That being said, let's go and let's look at what we're doing with here. So let's go. So as I said again earlier, here is the HX35W. Obviously, as you can tell, it is a aftermarket knockoff. It is not a genuine whole set, as you can't tell with the turbone on the compressor housing. But needless to say, it's a new turbo. And you know what? If it fits and if it goes in, then we're fucking mint. Here, however, here is a genuine whole set HX35 to HX, I think it's 45 or 50 rebuild kit. So it comes with everything. You have your 2 journal bearings. You also have your, what do you call it? I think it's an oil distribution plate. And a couple more bearings, bolts, fucking bunch of other stuff you need. Fucking shields and everything else like that, O-rings. So that's good. That'll come in handy for when we rebuild the turbo. So right now we're gonna go to the truck. I apologize in advance for the shitty lighting, but yeah, we're gonna go to the truck and we're gonna try to start ripping this thing apart and see what we can do. So let's get it going. All right, so here we are. Here in the truck. Yeah, she's dirty. Don't mind that leak there. That's not really a leak. That's just WD-40 from earlier. Yesterday. Anyway, so what we're trying to get at is this bolt right here. And so you take yourself a wrench that fits that, and it's a 13. I'm managing to somehow make it work with a 14. It's a little big, as you can see, but you just turn it without stripping it in the process. Like so. Sorry about that. And you just do the best you can anyways to get her fucking going. There you go. Just like that. Just keep doing that. And hopefully we'll loosen this off enough to take this whole part off here. So I'll back to you when that's done. Alright, so now that we got this here band off, this was keeping them two holding on together. I had to give her a couple of whacks with a hammer to get the turbine and the turbine housing separated from the hot side here. Now, as I've said before, right here is where the oil feed would go into. Right now I have it currently somewhere here. There we go. I currently have it set up in the manifold there, just so oil doesn't leak down. Actually, that's where that's from, now that I think about it. And yeah, I already got the one at the bottom disconnected. So I'm gonna take the old trusty, the old hammer here, and give her a couple love taps and try to get her out. So hopefully in the next clip, this fucking turbine and the turbine housing and the whole turbine housing all together will be out of the hot side. So let's get her going. All right, friends, so here's a little update. So I got halfway there, I guess you could say. I got the band off, obviously, and I got it separated. And the reason why it's wet because I used the old trusty WD-40 to fucking lube her up, and she did help a lot. However, because it is almost 10 o'clock at night here, and there's a silent stinger around 10 o'clock here in the of where I live, unfortunately, I can't hammer on this anymore. Another reason why is because I need a punch as well. So, let me get inside and I'll talk more on it. Okay, so now that that's better. Now that we're back in the house, let me talk a little bit on what happened. So, like I said, so there's a method to my madness, and it's getting there. But unfortunately, for not only because of the bylaw where you can't be making a shit ton of noise after a certain time, that has put a damper on it for tonight, along with the fact that I need a punch to get that thing out, because there's very little space for you to, I guess, swing a hammer to get the turbine housing out. So I'm gonna have to get a hold of something, or if I have a punch line around here, I think I might somewheres, but in the off chance I don't, I'm gonna see if one of my buddies has got one I can borrow. And yeah, so as it stands right now, like I said, I got the oil feed line and return line taken off, or disconnected rather, and then from there I'm just gonna try to, and I got that clamp there as well, I got that off. So at this point it's just a matter of trying to bang the thing out until she comes out. So yeah, and this is kind of a time sensitive thing only because today's Monday. I have the truck going into the shop on Friday to get a safety done from a buddy of mine. Now I want to get it done before then so you can just look at it once real quick and be like, yeah, okay, she's good to go. Fucking here you are. And then I have a truck to drive full time for that. And another thing is I have to get it going before at least, if I don't get it going for then, I have to get it going before the fucking, I think it's the 12th or the 13th, because my mom's actually coming up for a couple days of visit, because unfortunately with my job and all, I wasn't able to go see her this year for Christmas, so she's coming up here this way instead for a couple of days. Not that long. I got to pick her up Friday evening-ish, more like Friday night, Saturday morning kind of thing. Her flight gets in super late, and yeah, so hopefully that'll happen, and I'll have it done and good to go by then. So we're gonna stop the video here, and when I mean stop is in like you will see the next day, but it's gonna be, I'm gonna have to stop filming until the next day, till tomorrow after I get off work, and go from there. So yeah, stay tuned. Until then, I'll see you in a bit. So see you later. And we're back. We're back. Okay. So, from the last, since I last left you, I kind of jumped ahead. I was going to film it when I got home from work. Buddy Kevin showed up and gave me a hand. Fortunately for myself, he didn't want to be in the video, so for his sake, for his privacy, obviously, I didn't film any, but we finally got the turbo out, so let's take a look at that. Alright, so here we go. The turbo's partially disassembled. I managed to get it off from the hot side, and we actually were able to get this out whatsoever. That was a fucking nightmare, but I'll talk more about that later. Anyway, so here's a comparison between the two. So that's the brand new aftermarket HX35W, and then here is the genuine HX35W. One thing I did notice upon taking it off from the hot side, see if I can find it here, there were a couple pieces that came out of the this part. I don't know where they are, so let me find them, I'll get back to you. Okay, so I found them. So upon taking that off of that, I found these pieces. These were just hanging out, lodged in right in here. If I can show you, so apologize in advance, but right in here is where I found them, just hanging out, doing their thing. I'm thinking that is what caused the turbo to stop spinning, because once I took it out, it spins freely. That piece is loose, so I'm thinking that might have something to do with it, but it spins freely. There's no play in it whatsoever. Let's flip this on here, but no play. Fucking fins are filthy as fuck, mind you, but there's no play in the turbo whatsoever. So yeah. Also, as you can tell, I took the liberty to take off the return line, and yeah. So this is where I'm going to stop the video for now. Catch the next video where we actually take this thing apart, because I'm still missing a couple set of pliers or C-clamp pliers to get the spring out, so I can actually start taking this damn thing apart, so I can take off the turbine housing itself. So we're gonna stop here. Watch out for the next video where we actually take this thing apart and actually start rebuilding it. So until then, see you.